So, how was the week for you, Christine?
It was fine. Just I had my routine now that I've become accustomed to, which is kind of nice to have again because it's been lacking in the last couple of months. And so to be able to kind of firmly establish that was great. It doesn't really require a second thought because I pre-book it in advance. I've committed it to myself. So and once it's booked, it's not backing out. Like it's set in stone for me. Um, yeah, and just with all the additional information, it was just really more leveling up my understanding about my body, understanding how to better um, take into account recovery, and just really embracing rest days. Which, like, when I have my rest days, like, I look forward to them because I know I need them.
Amazing. So, Jeanette, I'm going to turn everything over to you if you want to ask any specific questions about the content that you came up with for the week.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually looking at like how the activity she's been logging on from the previous weeks. That's the reason why I was like, So if she's not, and I just noticed as well, that she's like always, always, always active, 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 which is not bad. But the activity that she has as well been doing, I'm like, I think she's got like more activities than, because even if you're just stretching, it's still an activity, but it's different from, let's say, go, 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 go. Then I will go, but I'll rest. If it makes sense, like, like your rest, like she also knows that your rest day is as good as your day where you really work out as well, because it's also good to really have a good rest day. That's for the reason that I kind of pointed out the specifics that I wanted her to focus on, like her joints, her stretching, like give it real time. Sometimes people think like just holding it on for like, okay, I'm done, go to the next one and just spend like 5 minutes on it. But really, if you really wanted a good stretch and a rest for that day without even like thinking, I would even say like go as far as 20 minutes for even just a stretch, because then your body will feel it. It's not just, oh, I'm not doing anything. But considering how Christine has been training, I also realized that I've also seen from her workouts that a stretch for her, because like when I say like the liquid, it's not like it's an acquired taste. You know what I mean? It's like in food, if you don't like it, you'll just eat it because it's there. But so like because she's been used to like go 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 and keep on going, so when it's come for a stretch, you'll just get, instead of getting like, I'd say half of the pie, a 1/4 would be enough. And really, because you've been too active, I would say even your stretch should be also longer than what you should be doing, if that makes sense. Because really everything, like when we work out, what you spend hour max, but if you do stretch, you should also spend at least 30 minutes, if I say so. Like that's the only thing I see the difference as well now, when I started just keep on go 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 go, and then when I went realizing the different joints, the different muscles, when I went into Pilates, that's when you realize, oh my God, it's like night and day difference. So that the body, which Christine's body, would recognize what is resting and what is working. Because right now, even when she is working, she would do her stretch, but her body still thinks it's working. It's not supposed to be for her to think that it's working. It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience for her. It's like, oh, at least my body. That's the reason why I think, looking at the activities she's doing, that her body doesn't recognize the rest, because everything in her head is a work. So for her to let go, step back a bit and be like, okay, this is not work. I am just gonna do this because, oh my God, it feels so hard. If like, per se, like I saw that you said when you were, I think it was when spinning, I'm not sure what day it was, and you said that first you had to get a pre-workout, and then you feel like you're tightening of your quads or hamstrings or something. I forgot, but it was on a Thursday, I think. So it's like creeping up on you or something. I definitely wrote a comment on that, because I know like right away I would forget the reason why you felt like it was creeping up on you. Then it's your body saying, maybe we need a little more stretch, if it makes sense, and that you shouldn't be thinking of you shouldn't be thinking more of, oh my god, it's going to be a work again because after a spin and I'm going to stretch. For you, I think that your head thinks that it's a workout. And also what I wrote is as well, I'll just call your attention as well to at 4:30 p.m. when you had a pre-workout on your login.
Oh, sorry, I ratted you out.
Sorry, yeah, I was like, oh, because how many milligrams of caffeine is in the pre-workout that you're taking right now? So
I
if
don't do full serving just so I can get the pump.
okay, so full serving is what, 350, 500 milligrams?
It's
So let's
usually
say
150 or so.
150 or so. Regular coffee is what, 40 milligrams? Yeah, I would say, yeah.
No, about 150 actually.
150, okay.
Mhm.
So at 4:30, what day was that? Because I was like looking at your, I want to connect the sleeping habit
It
with
was the Thursday.
the 26th. Okay, all right. So caffeine is half-life. So even if you don't burn the caffeine, you just it just pushes you through it. Even if after 5 hours, you're still having half of that effect of caffeine in you. For a reason why when that night you're like, probably, let's see what happened on that sleep. So when I saw the graph, the 26 on my calendar pop up here, it's like 26, Christine, up like, okay. So I would rather have you, there's so many natural replacement for caffeine.
Mhm.
Actually, like research on it too. So instead of taking that, because like now that you've cycled through, you just need that power to put you through 5 hours after, half of the caffeine, let's say it's 150, 75, that's fine. You burn it on the first 5 hours. On the next 5 hours, you still have your 75 grams right there. Like it's still in you. It's still not going away. It's probably a reason why you didn't sleep earlier that night. Like you were up the whole night. So your system was just like, it's still burning because the caffeine is still in you. You could probably just have, I would say, like maybe a cup of coffee. Or I would ask, like, why would you even take the caffeine to push you through if you're already tired?
So it's a drug at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it still comes to my attention that when you said a while ago too, when you're talking that because you've booked it ahead, you've planned it, it's set in stone, then there's no going back. I'm like, so it's okay. It's okay. It's like, oh my God, I'm like so tired, but I'm gonna push through because I'm gonna use my pre-workout. So I'm gonna ask you, if let's say you don't have your pre-workout, it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired, but I still want to push through, and then you were there, but I really don't want to do it because my body doesn't want to. How would it feel for you to be like, I'm here, I showed up, I really tried my best, like I'm really, really tired. Would you feel okay to be like, I'm gonna call it a day, I'll do it again tomorrow? How would you feel doing that?
Well, it's kind of like, there's two sides to it. There's like, if I had the ability, like if it was, let's say, at a gym where I had the choice to show up or not, then I'll be like, whatever, like I'll skip, right? Like that, or if I had to teach a class and I'm being like, oh, you should do that second one, and I'm like, yeah, I'm super pumped to do it, and I'll be like, actually, no, see ya, bye. But at the same time, because of the studio that I'm at, if you don't cancel within a certain time period, you're charged. So I would rather show up, not get charged, and then just be mindful during the workout, like, okay, if I am kind of tired, don't push as hard. But you know what? At least I'm getting some activity in my day, because I was probably sitting all day doing nothing, right? Or working. But it's something to break up having to sit all day, because I know what's going to happen is I'm sitting at my desk all day, and I'll go home and sit on the couch all day. And I would rather have some activity in my day than none at all.
Wouldn't you consider stretching longer an activity? Because like if you're sitting in the chair and then you go for a spin, you're still sitting. The thing is, because I always look at the positioning of the body. So you're sitting, right? You go to spin bike, you're still sitting. the thing I'm looking at is your hip joint. Sorry, I'm like going specific here. So I would rather have you, okay, fine, like really tired. I want to go home, stretch that hip, open it up, like go reverse everything that you do at the front,
Mm-hmm.
do it the back. So it's like you can go your like hip bridges, like everything that opens up your hips and opens all your joints. Because if you've been sitting the whole day and you say, okay, tired, I have to pursue and I have to pay, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then you'll be sitting in a bike and you're doing the same thing. Yeah, you're moving, but you haven't moved that specific part that you have been using the whole day.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would have rather like I told you, maybe like you can push through on that one, yeah, that's fine. But how about pushing through and just using the energy that you have instead of getting it from something to push you through? Because then that, for me, I'd rather have it with as a pure energy. Like, oh my God, I can push through. But once our body starts burning up and you start like when you start warming up and everything, it
Mhm.
will kick in. Less the pre-workout that you get. I'm not this It's probably because I think that everyone thinks because we have that pre-workout is gonna push you more, but you're actually just cheating your system, a way of cheating the system, I would say.
Mhm.
But the thing is, we are here in a week where you want to know how far your body will take you. And if you do that, you would really recognize the pure energy your body has because you use the pre-workout.
Mhm.
That makes
And there's
sense?
something to be said about the, like you said, the half-life. You might fall asleep, but the depth of your sleep is impacted. You're not able to achieve REM in stage 4 to the greater degree that if that caffeine weren't present in your system, even at a lower concentration. That's recovery, right? That's joint recovery, muscle recovery, all those things. And it's really hard to quantify. Like, sleep quantity isn't necessarily indicative of sleep. That makes sense. Sleep quality matters. And how we push our body and we allow our body to then also be in a state of tired, be in a state of complete, like, turning off the mind, is related to that quality. So if we are using a stimulant as a mode to keep going and do more, it's effective to produce results now, but
Mhm.
long term, actually, it has a negative consequence. So the impact right now, that positive impact, is it worth it, is the question. If your body is specifically also saying that it's tired, and there's nothing wrong with it too. It's just this matter of like, how can one use a pre-workout in a manner that is healthy and supportive, so that there is compassion and care towards the body, so that recovery is optimized.
Yeah, I do understand that as well too. It's because, well, yeah, I do understand how where what is like quality, like where it's really when you like lie down right away, you're like asleep, like blank. But where there's time where you're sleeping and your mind is still thinking, like, did I sleep? But then you would remember everything that you did. So it means inside you, even if you're still sleeping,
Mhm.
you're still working, if that makes sense. It's because of the supplement that's still inside of you. And I kind of would use that if I really, really like, let's say it's like your last resort. But the thing is, because the week for this week is knowing your body, so I would have had Christine like just purely understand, if I don't like, let's say if I don't use this and I still push through my day, what's gonna happen? Thing is, we wouldn't be able to happen because, oh my God, I'm still tired, but I want to push through and this is my class. Oh, I'll use a pre-workout and that would work.
Mhm.
Then you wouldn't recognize what your body really is telling you. Because the weakest, I want really Christine to understand, why is my body asking me to take this so I can push through? Why would it, why, why is my body like slowly creeping up, or like my legs are like getting tired? Like, why am I thinking that after a sitting in this chair for a long time and I still have to go work out because I wanted an activity? But if, for me, if it was in a chair, she drank, let's say, 2 liters of water. To be honest, if you do that, you're probably sitting up and down your chair 5-10 times a day, going to the washroom because you've been drinking a lot of water, and that is activity. per se. Like you don't even know it. Keep on doing that for like the whole week. 2 liters of water, 20 times sitting up and down your chair, go in and front of the washroom. That is activity. After work, like I really don't feel like it, go stretch. Open up the hip. Open whatever you think that you have been using. Reason why I gave as well a video where you're focusing on how to open up the joint, connecting to wherever the stretch you need to, and feeling what your body will tell you, like, oh yeah. And I know you've been spinning, that's why I gave a lot of hip and knee stretches for you to understand and recognize what a stretch really feels like. Because I know as an instructor, and Christine as an instructor, you start up with a warm-up, 5-10 minutes, cool down, 3 songs max. But for her lifestyle and her activity that she's doing, I don't think a 3-minute stretch is good enough to let her body realize that, oh my God, that was a really stretch.
Oh yeah, no. And at the end of classes there, they don't go very long for a cool down. So
it's like probably 1 or 2 songs.
Well, no, it's not even. It's after the last song. It's like, all right, slow down your pedals. Let's hop off the bike. Do your hamstring stretch, quad stretch, your hip flexor, glute stretch, and then stretch out your back, your lats, and call it a day. Like it's quick, very quick. So
okay.
I'm definitely not like doing a full ass cool down like we used to do when we taught spin. So that one video, of the 4 videos, I did the 1 and the 2, like the full thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those stretches were like really good. And then actually they had added a mobility yoga class after the spin class on Wednesdays. And when I stayed for that one because I'm like, I need to stretch. And so I stayed for that one, and sure enough, like it was amazing because I took that like 45-minute time to really stretch it all out. We used bands, we used everything to like really extend and open up, and yeah, it was awesome. So
okay,
that's
so
we added.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. And then now that you've like read all like things about the body, like the tips that I gave you and the podcast that you did, which is awesome, how well do you know your body now, going through all those notes, doing the workouts and the exercises, listening to the podcast? What is your takeaway on that week off about the body?
Of the podcast, it was definitely taking away the fact that like it's not bad to do a lot, but also being mindful of balance. And so like every month, you know, they're going to be adding more classes. And when the other studios and gyms open up and I start going into those gyms, you know, there's going to be more added on physically. And as I start to teach, that's also be more on my body, especially if I'm teaching spin classes. Like those are full ass classes I'm doing with everybody, right? So I'm having to, you know, rejig my schedule to make sure I don't burn out, because those are just as intense workouts as the workouts I'm doing right now. So like starting this Friday, I'm teaching spin. So that used to be my rest day. So I'm gonna have to find out or figure out what my new rest day is gonna be. And then I think like the next 2 Wednesdays, I'm gonna help sub some spin classes. So, and I feel I push more as an instructor than I would be as a participant because all eyes are on me. So I have to be even more mindful of recovery and taking that time off. But yeah, no, and then I think just some of the other stuff I took, there was that one podcast where he really was focusing on low intensity and how just even if you're consistent with low intensity, it's just as effective in getting your long-term goals, right? The LIFL, what do you call it? Low intensity, something L. I wrote so many notes, oh my God. Oh, and he was totally like ragging on HIIT classes, but saying, no, I'm not ragging on HIIT classes. I'm like, okay, but I'm an endomorph, I'm supposed to have HIIT classes. So that was an interesting thing that he was talking. And then, yeah, just all about balance. And the Ben Greenfield
interview
has too many suggestions. Like that was an hour worth of like tip after tip after tip after tip after tip of everything I should consider in life. And I was just like, dude, you're extreme. Like, that's a lot to take in one sitting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to watch that numerous times to really absorb everything he was trying to suggest, because I could have been sitting there taking notes all day long. Like, there was just so much. And so from that YouTube video, I was just kind of like, okay, well, what did I already do that he's suggesting? Like, check marks for me. Like, because I was just like, this is way too much. But I get it. Like, he's trying to be as primitive as possible, is what he was trying to get
Like
back to.
back to basic, like always back to basic.
Yeah. So, anyways. But I
Okay.
also did realize that, and you'll probably get to it, but I'll probably just bring it up now. So, like, Thursday, I'm feeling burnt out. It's like I did spin, I did lift, but I also felt obligated to check the boxes and do the video. So I'm like, I can't leave it unchecked. Like, this is just not cool. And so, but by doing that, it just reconfirmed my thoughts behind, during the whole shutdown, when you're teaching your online classes, I'm like, yes, Christine is watching this video. Like, literally watching. I'm not doing it.
Doing anything.
There's like no motivation to do like online videos. Like, I like the community. I like being in a classroom setting because people are keeping me accountable. I can't just go to a classroom and stand there and watch everyone work out. That's creepy. Like, I need to do the work. So I was just like, so like I kind of went through it. I watched the video, did some of the exercises just to feel like I, did it. But I was like, you know what? I'll do the stretches at least. I know I need those, and those were really good. But yeah, doing workouts from home, oh, no bueno.
No bueno. That's good. That's good. And now that you know, like, so knowing as well your body type, what does it make you feel knowing like your body type? And because like it also suggests, like, I think I'll suggest like, what are the things to do for this body type? What does it make you feel? Because I know you're already doing that thing, right? Like, you've already been doing that. And how do you feel knowing that? Like, considering I already know that, but why do you think is it helping you knowing what your body type it is and what's working for a certain body type?
Well, like I was saying, like with the endomorph body type, I was just like, well, great, yeah, like I've been told this, I am doing this, I'm trying to at least. And so I just feel like of the three body types, I have the body type that has to work the hardest, because, well, it just feels that way, right? Like,
Yeah.
but then I feel that way based on my goals. Whereas someone with those other body types could just be quite happy with
what they have.
figure and their body type. Whereas for me, I know I need to be more mindful of what I eat and what I do for workouts. And if I want to achieve a certain figure, then I need to kick it up and use HIIT and use more cardio and lift and everything else.
That's good. That's exactly what I really want to hear from you. It's because it's not that, well, if that's your body type, that's your body type. It's not really like the end goal, like, or it's not a bad thing. It's just that if you want to get the most out of it, then at least try to do what's good for that body type. Because I was like, well, I'm an introvert, what can I do? But you saying that, well, yeah, my body's like this, it's just that I have to be mindful to be doing this because your body type is the one that really has to be one of those that has to be working really hard to get what they wanted. But if you really want to reap the benefit out of what you're given, then yes. But really, at the end of the day, what your goal really is this is just what I wanted. Then with everything that you do, putting in together like a piece of the puzzle, it'll always come together, since you are like so driven. Like Cameron would say, we don't really need to tell you what to do. You're even like above and beyond what you're already be doing. What I'm trying to do is actually scale you back because sometimes actually less is more. You wouldn't probably understand it until like you would like step back a bit, and you will be like, oh wow, until your body recognizes the difference. Because right now you are just a hot iron, you're just hitting it, and I love it. It's just when you're hitting it, I think it's because you as well, I'm not sure, like I want to ask as well, like when you hitting it like every day, you're doing this, you're achieving it. I think you get so much fun with the adrenaline. Like, oh my God, I achieved it. I achieved that. Because like you and I were both the same person, like a box, check box. When you checked it, doesn't feel like such a big accomplishment.
Mhm.
Right. So
I
now
also
on the
feel like, because, you know, like I'm trying to hit goals right now and get to there, like I said, there is no end goal, but you know, losing the weight and getting stronger in, I feel like to get there, I need to put that work in now versus down the road where I'm like, okay, like I'm at a point now where I'm happy with my figure, my weight, or whatever that is, then I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to go like 5-6 days a week anymore. Maybe I can cut it down to 5, or, but who's to say that's going to be realistic down the road? Like, am I really going to cut back, or I'm going to get there and be like, oh, how much more can I push myself, right? Especially if, you know, like I've got that mentality like, oh, maybe one day I can do figure. Okay, well, if I want to do figure or physique down the road, like this is the commitment. This is the type of work these athletes are putting in to achieve those body types, right? And or the figure that they want. So I don't know. It's a whole bunch of stuff just going up in here, trying to figure it all out.
And what did you learn about your body during the weeks that you have been doing and reading and watching of what you're doing for the week of the body?
Like, I think just the general theme was balance. Balance, rest, recovery was a lot of it this week. Just trying to, and being more mindful, right? Because, and actually that second podcast, it was pretty much saying like, you know, these people will go really, really hard, and the only time they really do slow down is when they injure themselves. And so, you know, it's those times where I'm on the spin bike and I'm like, uh-oh, something's tweaking, something's
Yeah.
not feeling right. Then I'm like, okay, like check in with my form first. Did that fix it? No. All right, well, when I get home, I guess I'm going to be rolling out, using the massage gun, like doing the recovery things that I probably haven't been consistent at, because I know I'm bad at that.
Yes, and I want that to be a part of
Mm-hmm.
every time you'd feel like the whole day. If you're tired and you can't even like do any workout, it would be nice to be like, you know what? I will just stretch a long, long stretch. I think that will at least create a balance with your body because you're always on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's just a stretch, like I said, it's like an acquired taste where people will like, if I'm stretching, I'm not doing anything. Actually, you are doing something.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I
And
feel it when I actually
yeah,
decide I'm
okay,
doing it. Yeah.
good, good, good.